Baker Mayfield is a free man. Baker Mayfield has been traded to the Carolina Panthers for a 2024 fourth round pick or a 2024 fifth round pick. The pick will convert from a fifth to a fourth if Baker plays 70% of the team's snaps in 2022. So the Panthers receive Baker Mayfield for a fifth or maybe a fourth in 2024. The terms also include Baker Mayfield taking a little bit less money, at least from the Carolina Panthers. The Browns have agreed to pay most of the contract for Baker this season, about $10.5 million for this season for Baker, for the Browns, not for the Panthers. The Panthers are only going to pay about $5 million and then potentially incentives about $3.5 million on top of that if he meets those incentives for the season. So overall, a lot of people are criticizing this move, and I'm going to give you a different perspective because that's what I do here on the Bottom Line View, and that's why you should Gronk spike the like button and subscribe, because here on the Bottom Line View, I'm not just going to give you the same take. I'm going to give you my take, and I'm going to be quite frank with you right now. Panthers fans, do not feel down about your team. I understand that your organization is a little bit messy, and they've taken a lot of swings at this quarterback thing. A lot, right? From Cam Newton being released to ultimately going to Teddy Bridgewater, and then going to Sam Darnold, and then PJ Walker pops out of the XFL, and then you draft Matt Corral, and then Sam Darnold, and then Cam Newton again. And now you're with Baker Mayfield. Like, it's madness. It's craziness. But first, at least your organization is trying. At least they are attempting to put forth an effort to find a quarterback. Because if I was a fan, I would have been absolutely irate, frustrated to go into this season with Sam Darnold as my quarterback, knowing what he was for my team last year. And knowing that Sam Darnold was given a second chance in Carolina, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Baker Mayfield's a different guy. And we've seen Baker Mayfield be far more successful in the NFL than Sam Darnold ever has. And they were drafted in the same draft. They've had the same amount of experience. Baker's been more successful. He has played in a better situation. But this is where I'm going to be honest with you. People overrate the Cleveland Browns situation 110%, at least from my perspective. The Cleveland Browns did have a great offensive line. They did have talented receivers. They didn't really use them correctly. If you watched OBJ in Cleveland and then you watched him in New York and you watched him with the Rams, the way that I have, the way that I'm a OBJ stan, they did not use him the way that he should have been used. And the chemistry was not just off from Baker to OBJ, but also from Stefanski to OBJ. And I'm going to be honest with you, Stefanski's offense never fit Baker Mayfield whatsoever. Everybody saying that Stefanski set up Baker Mayfield for success, they are lying. Or they just, I don't know what they're watching, to be honest. Because Baker Mayfield never fit that style of offense. Now, the rumor is that Ben McAdoo, and I'm not a big Ben McAdoo fan. I'm not going to sit here and defend Ben McAdoo. But the rumor is that Ben McAdoo wants an offense that will implement a quick passing game. He wants to get the ball out quick from his quarterback. And when you look at Baker Mayfield and his success in college, the reason he was the first overall pick was due to a quick passing game. He was very good with timing, with seeing the field, getting it out quick, and being accurate, especially underneath and intermediate. And we have seen Baker Mayfield when the Browns have gone empty and they've allowed Baker to be more of a volume passer. Baker has thrived in that setting, even in games where he didn't have the best weapons. And Baker has never had the best weapons in Cleveland. He never really has, because a lot of the times Jarvis has been beat up, Jarvis has been overrated, and then also Odell has been injured a lot of the time. So he's had a great running game. He's had an okay defense. He's had a pretty good play action scheme that he didn't really fit. Now, Ben McAdoo will probably try to throw that in the offense as well. But when you look at Carolina's setting and their weapons and what they have for Baker here, the offensive line is worse, but it's not as bad as it was a year ago. It's improved, right? You draft first round left tackle, Aquanu. Taylor Moton is still there. or Moton, however you say his name. And then you've got Austin Corbett, who you signed, Bradley Bozeman, who you signed. So the offensive line will be stronger. And Christian McCaffrey is healthy, looking good in the offseason. I think he'll be a big part of this offense. Baker getting it out quick to him, easy throws, easy completions. And then receiver-wise, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and even Marshall, second-year player. I mean, that's a pretty good receiving core, especially DJ Moore, who I feel like DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson actually suit Baker pretty well from a skill set perspective. So that's going to be interesting if Robbie Anderson has his head on straight. But I feel like ultimately, guys, Baker Mayfield, he's been getting the short end of the stick, man. People have been blaming him for everything, and personally, I have been there. I have been yelling at Baker because there's been games where I just expected better. It's not necessarily because I hate Baker, I dislike Baker. It's because I feel like he's played worse than I thought he could. And I also feel like there's just always been something off with the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield. It's just always been something a little bit off. The passing game has never been as good as people think. The drop-back passing game of Cleveland has not been dynamic. It's not the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not the Buffalo Bills. It's none of that. It's not elite. The run game is what's special in Cleveland. It's not the passing game. So whoever tells you that Baker was put in this great situation to succeed as a passer, absolutely incorrect. Good offensive line, that's about it. It's really about it. They're fucking lying, okay? But in terms of Baker Mayfield, if he can stay healthy this year, this is an upgrade at quarterback. This is absolutely an upgrade at quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. They now have a quarterback who brings confidence into the building. If you like him or you dislike him, Baker Mayfield's a character, and Baker Mayfield is a personality. Baker Mayfield will uplift his teammates because he has confidence. He's going to come in there, and unlike Sam Darnold, he is going to command the room, and he is going to command respect, and he is going to bring confidence and swagger into this team. And that's what I love about him, getting him for cheap. Really, what is there to complain about this move? I mean, it's cheap for a starting caliber quarterback. Baker Mayfield is not a bad quarterback. He is a top 20 talent, 25 player at this position. At worst, 25, right? At worst. And he does have the talent to be a top 15 quarterback in the league. He's got a strong arm. He can move a little bit. He's pretty accurate. He's more accurate than many quarterbacks in this league. I feel like Baker's never really had issues with mechanics. He's a little bit smaller. Sometimes he plays a little bit too much hero ball, and he thinks he can do it when more inside structure is where he'd be successful. I think if you keep Baker within structure, he could be a very good quarterback because he does have that arm to make all the throws, and he is accurate. He is on the money, especially in the intermediate range. If you can make him that spread and shred quarterback that he was in college, instead of this rollout play action outside the pocket, I'm on the move, I'm Patrick Mahomes quarterback, then he can be a really good quarterback in this league, I believe. It's when you ask him to do something that he's not. You ask him to be this playmaker that he isn't. He isn't that player. He is a structure player, in my opinion. And I think if Carolina goes that route, they might surprise some people. And he's a lot better than Sam Darnold. He does make some bad decisions at times, but not nearly the same amount to the degree that Sam Darnold does. So Baker Mayfield deserved this second chance. And I absolutely despise and hate how the Cleveland Browns had handled their quarterback situation. And yes, it made sense for them to potentially move on from Baker, but not the way they did it, in my opinion. So I hope he succeeds in Carolina. And I think he will be something exciting, something to root for, and something interesting to watch for Carolina Panther fans this season, and something to get excited about. I don't understand criticizing the swings at quarterback. It's the most important position in the NFL. It's the position you need the most. If it doesn't work one season, try a different guy, especially a guy who's on a prove-it deal, who's motivated, who's going to come in pissed off at the world. You play the team that he's pissed off at in week one, potentially to get off to a good start without their supposed starting quarterback, because he's not playing this year. And quite frankly, I hope the Panthers kick the fuck out of those guys in that game. I'm just going to be honest. So the Baker Mayfield thing, I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well in Carolina. I think he'll surprise some people. And I think if the coaching is above my expectation, I think they can be a better team than I think. I had them projected for about 3 to 4 wins this season. I've moved that up to 6 to 7, maybe even 8 wins this season. You look at this division, the Bucs are clearly a playoff team. Everybody else, the Saints, I'm a little bit concerned now with Michael Thomas still taking a while to get back. Alvin Kamara potentially being suspended for the first 6 games of the season. Love their defense, but Jameis is also coming off an injury, so their offense is majorly suspect. Atlanta's terrible, like downright awful. So Carolina's at least the 3rd best team in this division. And if they can pull off a couple upsets, their defense is young, it's promising. Don't quite have the edge rush they had a year ago, but they could be a pretty good unit if a couple guys take a step forward, like J.C. Horn and Derek Brown, etc. So they could surprise. The offensive line's better. And with a confident leader who can get the ball and distribute it to these playmakers, which are talented, you could make some noise this year. I think the Panthers are, I wouldn't call them a dark horse, but maybe a sleeper this season. A team that I wouldn't be shocked if they did make the playoffs in a very weak NFC. I'm not counting on it. I'm not predicting it. But I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever in their situation. So, Baker Mayfield, man, good luck. I like this move for Carolina. And I don't understand all the hate. I don't get it. I get it's funny that they've been through all these quarterbacks. But it's a cheap quarterback who is a starter who you're getting at a perfect time. He is angry. He is motivated, and it's only for 1 year. If it doesn't work, you can move on, period. You can move on to Matt Corral. So, keep pounding, I guess. Thanks, guys, for watching. Gronk, spike the like button and subscribe for more NFL. Peace.